preservation. Today, more than ever, an endless variety of preserved food imported from all over the world is available to consumers. Yet, as rich as we are to diversified taste, we are equally poor in the knowledge of traditional food preservation and its techniques in our own backyard. Preservation has been around since time immemorial. For most of the methods here in Sarawak, Borneo, preparation is determined by the weather and geographical location. From the highland to the sea and the jungle to the river, this culinary wisdom stems from oral history. The custom to keep food from spoilage and to extend shelf life of once the harvest has been passed down for generations. In Search of the Food Preservers covers the cross-pollination of the multicultural palates of its people, which is the epitome of Sarawak's food heritage. Most significantly, it's the cooking process strictly acquired by instinct that is truly at risk of getting lost and forgotten. 6 food preservers, 6 indigenous groups, and 6 traditional methods. And I'm obsessed with documenting and preserving our culinary culture. In this episode, we witness the unknown and forgotten technique of oil immersion handed down from mother to son. Dora is quite astounding. First and foremost, I'm a kipput, she says. But then she's not just a kipput, her father is Chinese and she's married to Malay. She explains the kipputs are so unknown to the general public and very clearly in numbers. There are only 5,000 of them, 3,000 Muslim kipputs and 2,000 Christian kipputs. There are several versions of how the kipput came about. I mean, there are one of 7 under the Orang Ulu umbrella. One version says that the kipput were actually the first indigenous group to settle in the Baram area. Some anthropologists might argue otherwise, but Dora believes that she's the kipput, so who are we to argue? The kipputs are not only a minority, there is hardly any information about their culinary techniques, dishes. What better way to have a young person show students how to make this incredibly unknown dish and the technique, which is so similar to the French confit de canard. And that is why we thought that it would be a good idea to be in a culinary university surrounding, have them watch a young person do something that is actually quite unknown. A week before that we started filming the episode about the kipputs, Dora had a knee accident that really made it impossible for her to travel. But the days went on, and when she saw that we were going to really demonstrate in front of young people, it made her even more determined to present the kipput culinary techniques. So she took the flight, she hobbled here, and together with her son, she is so influenced by both her father and her grandmother
Actually, my name is Hajah Dora binti Haji Muhammad Leong. The Haji Muhammad is my father, who's converted to Muslim. He's a Chinese. So the Leong is our surname. My mother is a Muslim Kiput, and actually Kiput there are two different religion. Our Muslim Kiput is in Kampung Menawak, whereas the Christian Kiput they stay at Kuala Tutuh. Aware that we are very minor ethnic.
So there is this amazing mix that she can produce with the same ingredients that I have every day, but out of it, there is this balance, as if it is the same balance as her life, a beautiful mixture of several cultures.
I know a bit of languages, just like Mandarin. I know a bit. Ni hao ma in Kiput, pai kabar now ilau cek ka in Kayan, teno ika sayu ka do ika in Klabit mapak ko, and then in Malay is apa kabar, in Kedayan apa kabar kamu? In Puchao saya kalewa. What I tend to know because my neighbor is a Puchao. Every time when she scolded the anak or the children, kan ini ya kalewa, ini comyang lah. Because they was wondering why you always talk like that. Because Puchao say the houses are very far apart. So they tend to shout at each other. That's why the whole kampung can hear them talking. So that is how she always scolded the children. So that is what I know.
Dora, tell us, what are you doing? Been waiting to see these Kiput dishes and tradition.
Now I'm doing it. Puta ampap. Puta ampap.
Literally meaning?
It's a turmeric fish.
Turmeric fish.
So this is for our ingredient: garlic, onion, lemongrass, turmeric, and this. The last one is cendawan and a bit of this ginger. So we cut all this together and then we blend it to marinate the fish. So now we get a basin, we get the fish. They call it ikan kelapa.
In Kiput.
Puta ubay. Ubay is paprika. It's very soft.
Putak is fish.
Puta fish. So we put in all the fish inside. And then later on you put the blended on. So we just put it inside. We mix it. And we put in salt. I'm using the pink Himalaya salt. So it depends on you how salty you want it to be. And then lastly, you put this asam jawa. So you mix it. And then you put it inside your.
When was the first time you tasted this? Was it done by your grandmother?
Yes, it's done by my grandmother. When I was small, at the age of 5, I started the cooking. She taught us how to cook rice. Most of the time, I'm staying with my grandmother. There are 35 of us in a family. So every time when we want to have makan time, so everybody bring the plate as if like we are in boarding school. Because some people, they like to use the powder turmeric. It's very fragrant. Don't want to mix it with that one, so I covered it up. So what you have to do, just cover it up. It's a simple cook, and then it's time for us to do the cooking. So we just wait it until it's cooked. Okay, you see the fish is boiling now.
Never ever seen it done this way. Wow. How do you say nyaman in Kiput?
Cek anyim.
Cek angin. Cek angin.
Yeah. Can you try the dish?
Yes, I definitely will. It's It's really delicious. It actually reminds me a taste of my past, because today we get dishes like that with similar ingredients, but it doesn't have that traditional aroma. I don't taste the chili at all, and yet it's spicy. It's really delicious. So now you're going to do the daging ayok.
No, it's not me. No.
Who is going to do it?
I'll pass it to my son. Adik now kasak lagi nanya.
So your mom said something to you in Kiput. What was it that she said, and what did you reply?
She said that she wanted to test me, and then I replied, yes, I will be cooking the daging anyok. So now we're gonna take the meat first. We take the beef, which has been cleaned. So we're gonna cut this thick, and then we're gonna put it inside the bowl. This tip, we're gonna remove it. So the tip of the beef is to remember. You see the grain here? We're gonna cut across the grain.
Okay.
Okay.
How many times have you done this before your mom has?
A lot of times.
Before that, I have to interrupt a bit what he has said. This is a tips, yeah. Because of the texture of the beef, you should not cut it straight. You have to cut it opposite. Otherwise, if you cut it following the one, you eat it tonight. Tomorrow night, you can still eating inside your mouth again.
Oh, okay.
It becomes
So we're gonna take the sugar around 300. Then we're gonna pour some soy sauce. So we're gonna pour inside here around 300 milliliters.
What soy sauce is this?
This is dark soy sauce. We prefer this type of soy sauce.
Because it's our ancestors' chili sauce, soy sauce.
Pour it inside the bowl. You can measure it in one. 2 tablespoons. Okay, after we put all the ingredients inside, now we're going to use our hand to marinate the meat. And then don't forget to squeeze the meat so the flavor will go inside the meat.
That's why we have to use hand. We learned it from my late grandmother. Mother is still staying with us. So my mother sometime in the north, my father in the south. So we would meet together. Grandmother and my father teach me how to do it. And after that, after I get married, so I teach my husband how to do it. So most of the time, so when my husband, when they want to this daging anyok, so he has to do it. So he teach this to my eldest daughter and my second boy, who mastered this one is Mahathir and the sister.
I started my cooking with my mom was in primary school. So I learned mostly Chinese style, but after that taught me about the Kiput and then our heritage, our origin, so that's how I know the real way to cook Kiput dish and how to cook the Chinese style. Okay, now pour some oil in.
This is called daging anyok. Anyok means oil.
Yeah.
So we need extra oil to preserve the thing.
So now we let until it bubbles up.
What is the purpose?
The oil need to be heat up first in order to the meat to be tender.
Tenderize the meat.
So it cannot be.
Not too hot, yes, and then not too cold also.
So you're waiting for the perfect temperature.
Yeah. As long as you can put your, if you cannot put your hand above it, so you can feel it.
Is there a specific oil that you prefer using?
Because when in kampong time, we don't have any cooking oil as what we have now. And so my grandmother used to do this coconut oil. Kampong, there are a lot of coconut, grind it, and then after that they got squeezed and then make their own oil. Where at the end of processing, you can see the
oil hard emulsified.
Yes. So that is the best part when you eat. So that is what we are doing when my grandmother do this. So all of us sitting down there waiting for the
Eating the emulsified oil. But today you use
pure vegetable oil better than the palm oil.
But you don't use coconut oil because of
Not easy to do nowadays. The cost to
Now we're gonna put the meat inside the oil. So be careful because the oil is hot.
You know the purpose of doing it bigger. You not bought a big jar. So where my grandmother used to put. So every time when we want to eat it, so we pick up the meat and then slice
Now we
it
cover it up to boil it.
until the sauce thicken. The longer you cook it, soya, we stick to the
beef.
But my children, it's not time for it to stick.
We're not that patient.
Amazing, because I thought you were going oil immersion. You just stick it in, wait till it boils, and take it out. So you put marinade.
When it is cooked, then we dish it.
Leave it for a while. It can be left for some time.
You can straight away eat also.
Jar it up. If you put it in the fridge, it can last around 1 year.
You can see when the bubbles is, so that means this is marinade that one.
You want that to happen.
Now we turn off the heat. It's been 1 hour. So now we can see. Now we're gonna take the meat out since it's hot, so we need to be careful. And then let it soak all the flavors under the oil. That's the important thing. Put it inside the jar and then we just slice it by pieces. So it's ready.
Dora, how did he do?
Yeah, I feel great also, but he needs to be more careful because some of the things that he drink, maybe he's nervous when they do the measurement and so on. Yeah. But the end product is very well done.
He was not fazed at all about it, and he wanted to do it in front of the camera. And I thought that was very brave. For me, it didn't matter whether it was successful or not, but we need courage like that to continue with tradition, culture. Because if we don't try, it gets forgotten, it gets lost. And for that, I really admire this young man. I think it would be an insult to say that when it was sliced up for us to try, the shape, the form was a little bit like cutting up roast beef, but this was certainly not roast beef. As if you open a jar, you just get that whiff of the ingredient that was put in. You could actually smell it. It was so strong. It triggered hunger. And then it was sliced and we tasted. It was so soft and juicy, aromatic. Imagine that a very good piece of jarred beef is not. It was cooked and served. We have this very traditional and unknown kiput way of preserving their beef. The method that they use is very similar to the confit de canard done by the French people. This is the beef that the guest Dora did, and I really like you to try. They put in soya sauce, several ingredients. The oil is usually traditionally done with coconut oil, but today they use vegetable oil. You will just have a try. It's very tasty, yeah?
Very tender.
Yeah.
I'm clueless with this.
How many students are there in UCSI?
Overall, our students 1,200. In culinary student alone, we have about 400.
How many kipputs, Muslim kipputs, are in Sarawak?
In Sarawak alone, it's estimated about 3,000. And that's kind of where you have the Muslim kibbutz and then you have the Christian kibbutz. But it's roughly about 3,000. So that's like half of UCSI university's population.
Yes.
The number of kibbutz in Sarawak.
I only made only 2 kibbutz. That was during my when I was secondary diploma.
Because some of these people, kampung people, because they are not exposed to the outside world. Most of them, the children are now become fishermen, become farmers. Only those people who are exposed to outside world, then you can see that the children are well educated.
Wow.
Yes.
What does it taste like?
You really taste the beef itself. You see?
Okay.
There's a bit of sweetness. The fact that that sweetness is still there. Very good.
I think this beef goes well with salad.
First of all, it's very deep and caramel. I think the beauty of this is that it's fresh and yet preserved. So that's unique because usually what is preserved, it loses color, it loses the sharpness of taste. And this didn't happen for this. It tastes very, very delicious. Well done steak. You can bottle it and it can last. I think that is the beauty. Why is there so many preserved food for the kids?
Because it's not easy to look for this one, animals, hunts for animal and so on. Because they are mostly farmers and fishermen, so we even make this one burai puta. Burai puta is a pickled fish. Most of these people are having a lot of children, so the only thing is to preserve the food so that it can last long, not for today but for tomorrow and the day after tomorrow.
How long would it last in this form if you keep it in the jar?
It depends how fast you want to eat it.
So meaning you have to keep it in room temperature.
The best if you have fridge, you put in the fridge is better. It can last for a year, 1 year.
So there is a similarity of the way it is done, the beef and the chicken. I would say the comparison is the confit de canard. It's the French way of preserving the duck. So they bottle it and they put all their canned food, and when they want it, they pop it out and then they just heat it up. So there is that similarity. The transference of knowledge, methods, and techniques, there is such love between both of them. It's not always easy to show our young ones because the interest isn't there. In the end, being a Kiput, a Chinese, and a Malay by marriage all in one is certainly not common. Even less common is the pride of his heritage instilled in a child by his mother. Street in Kuching City, and you're bound to hear different languages and dialects spoken thanks to the multi-ethnicity of 29 major groups. And as such, it is a real melting pot of boundless types of cuisines. No matter the indigenous group that we come from, our ancestors had planned that we would never be short, passing down traditional methods of preserving food to last until the next harvest.